What if I told you there's a war in the history books that started and ended before your morning alarm goes off? No years of fighting, no famous generals, no treaties signed after decades of bloodshed. Just one stubborn man, 5 British warships, and 38 minutes that ended an entire sultanate. This is the Anglo-Zanzibar War, the shortest war ever fought, and the story behind it is absolutely insane. Zanzibar, 1896. A small but powerful island off the coast of East Africa, rich from the spice and slave trades, and increasingly under the thumb of the British Empire. Britain had been tightening its grip for years, and they'd inserted one critical rule into their treaty with Zanzibar. No new sultan could take the throne without British approval. On August 25, 1896, the pro-British sultan died suddenly. He was 39. Rumors of poisoning spread immediately. Within hours, his nephew, Khalid bin Bargash, walked into the royal palace, assembled 3,000 supporters, pointed old artillery cannons at the harbor, and declared himself the new sultan. Without asking Britain, without approval, without a plan. The British were furious. By the next morning, 5 Royal Navy warships were sitting in Zanzibar's harbor, cannons loaded, pointed directly at the palace. At 8 a.m. on August 27th, the British delivered their message. You have 1 hour. Leave the palace, stand down your forces, or we open fire. Khalid read the ultimatum and refused. He reportedly believed it was a bluff, that the British wouldn't actually shell a palace in the middle of a city. He was wrong. Around 3,000 of his supporters had gathered, soldiers, guards, armed civilians. Some carried rifles, some manned outdated cannons. Some, and this is real, arrived on bicycles. The clock hit 9 a.m. The British opened fire. It wasn't a battle, it was demolition. The palace crumbled almost immediately. Khalid's artillery was destroyed within minutes. His royal yacht tried to engage the British fleet. It was sunk before it could do any damage. On land, British commanded troops advanced. Khalid's men tried to hold the line. They didn't. At 9:40 a.m., just 38 minutes after the first shot, a white flag went up over the ruins of the palace. The final tally? Khalid's side, 500 killed or wounded. British side, 1 sailor. Injured. Not even killed. Injured. The war was over. Khalid fled, straight into the German consulate, where the British couldn't legally touch him. He lived there for years, eventually smuggled out into exile. He wasn't finally captured until World War I, and was exiled to St. Helena, the same island where Napoleon died. Britain immediately installed their preferred sultan, who abolished the slave trade within months. Zanzibar remained a British protectorate for another 67 years. The ruins of the palace still stand today, silent, weathered, and a little surreal to look at, knowing what happened there in under an hour. The Anglo-Zanzibar War lasted 38 minutes. It toppled a sultanate, ended a slave trade, and cemented a colonial grip on an entire island. And somewhere out there, Khalid bin Bargash spent the rest of his life knowing he started a war that was over before the dust had settled. Was he brave? Foolish? Both? Drop your answer in the comments.